am the corporate slave at a global. That's what you are. The higher up you go, the more slave you are. And I'm the corporate slave at a very well-known, very reputable, global innovation company. I love my company. I love what I do. But I was always aware, the more you aimed, the more you wanted, it always comes with a price tag. You can choose to be anything that you want to, as long as you're aware of what you are choosing and what you are not choosing. As long as you know every choice, however small and binary, has a price. And we women are amazing people. Each and every one of you has multiple success stories because by default, women create miracles every day. If God has given us a body that could create a human being from 2 simple stupid cells, carry it around, take it out, take care of it for the rest of your life, we have to be amazing. You may choose to have a child, or you may choose not to have a child, but how amazing you are does not change. Because you're born with multitasking capability, with nurturing capability, and you can change who you are at a moment's notice. Hello, the telephone rings. Hi, you're the friend, you're the daughter, you're the mother, you're the sister, you're the corporate slave, you are somebody's boss, somebody's peer, and somebody's worker. And women do this so effortlessly. Women do this so light that men don't even realize. Thus, they don't appreciate. Okay? Fine, life. Okay, so what I learned is there is an element of luck, thus the sliding doors. Things happen for a reason you just don't know. Sometimes it's good luck, sometimes it's bad luck. Then I learned life is not about your choices, but being consciously aware of what you are choosing and what you are not choosing before you actually make the choice. That's where women are not very amazing. We're a bit emotional. We tend to make a decision without our personal rationale. We tend to go with the flow, nurture others, make others happy, and not really think, what will actually make me happy? Okay? So I see crossroads as a tree. And like a tree, your life continuously grows, and there becomes branches, and life happens at the end of each branch. It doesn't really matter what you choose and what you don't choose, as long as the tree is fertilized, watered, nurtured, sees some sunlight. And that's actually all a woman needs. But again, when it is crossroads, my mind works with road signals. And I look at my life in decades, and every 10 years, life did change dramatically and unexpectedly. So I'm going to talk about 6 short stories, very short, of how it changed and what was the conscious choice I made and what made me think like that. And in the end, I'm going to share with you my small formula for success, if it is success, okay? So, the first is between the age of 0 and 10. That's a tough decade. And you have a lot of tough choices. First of all, by being born, it's a big struggle. You know, you go from a very different environment to a very different environment in a birth room. And my mother, having graduated from 3 universities, decided that they're going to steal her child in a hospital. And I was, in year 1963, given birth at home. Fine. This is true. I'm not making it up to tell a nice story. Actually, this is really true. And the doctor has recently come back from the United States to Turkey, and he said that this is a syndrome that pregnant women have. Just humor her. We'll turn the house into a birthing room, and so I'm definitely my mother's daughter. Nobody mixed us up. And in the first 10 years, life gave me the role of being a daughter and a friend, many friends, and a mom. That's all I remember from my 10 years. And the choice was about life and giving up. You know, what started out as a very simple stomach ache turned into a very nasty thing that kept me in the hospital for almost 3 months. I lost the 3rd year of elementary school, and people really thought that I'm going to die. And every time I was able to open my eyes, I told my mother, I will not die. So I chose to live, and later on in life, 2 or 3 times, I had ovarian cancer, I had a very rare illness that happens to 150 million in one times, and you know, they put me in and out of hospital for long times. Every time I told my mother, who's always with me and always crying, saying, oh, my daughter is going to die, I said, don't even think about it. I will not die. And so far, so good. Huh? The first choice I learned and consciously made is your body heals you if you really want to get healed and if you don't give up. Okay? So far, so good. We don't know if this theory holds for everything or until when. So far, it does. The second choice is about, well, a lot about what Lauren has showed us. It was, I graduated from high school and Üsküdar Amerikan, by the way, at the year 1980. So 1980 summer was a very hot summer in Turkey, for those of you who remember. And we took the university entrance exam. I was always a stellar student. I got into what I wanted. I was going to become a doctor to heal everyone. So I'm ready to go to Istanbul University, and my father said, over my dead body. And he didn't look like he's going to die. So he said, no daughter of mine is going to no university in Turkey, and no, I will not send you to the United States. So the whole summer was, am I going to go to university, or am I going to stay at home and do what? Tough year. And then we woke up one morning, for good or for bad, there was a coup and I could go to school. That's all I cared about, okay? So the ages 20-ish was when you are a daughter, when you are a sister, when you are a friend to many, and then when you also become a girlfriend. My, that's tough. I mean, living with women, I can manage, okay? Fickle friends, I can manage. This and that. But the girlfriend-boyfriend thing was really tough. I was a slow learner, you know? I tend to stick to one man and stay. And so I had one long engagement, decided not to get married 20 days before the actual wedding. And then I got married a year later to somebody I didn't know, and we're still married for 26 years. Happy and counting, you never know. I choose to stay with him, so I hope it stays like that. So after this comes professional life. So with marriage, I added the roles of being a wife, and eventually in 13 months, because we were in a hurry probably, I became also a mother. So when you are a wife and a mother for the first time, you tend to focus on those roles. I was nothing for a while. I remember trying to keep a home and a child sane, safe, and clean, and trying to manage some form of a life. That was tough, to learn how to juggle more bowls in my hand and not let them drop. I had to be the perfect wife. My house had to be stellar clean. My fridge had to be full of meals I had to cook. I don't know who taught me that, but I had to. And my son had to be the best, and I had to be the, you know, very nice wife, everything. And I still had to work and earn money, etc. So that was a tough lesson to learn, that I could ease myself, drop a few balls, especially the plastic ones, the rubber ones. You know, just keep a few crystal ones in your hand. That's enough. That I learned later in life. So I focused on the transition at a crossroad from being a single student who thought that she's going to discover something and change the world, to being a married professional who barely makes everything just stay there. Okay? So then comes the ages 30 and 40, and I started changing jobs. I'm a dentist by training, and I did a PhD in dentistry, and I did dentistry, and I hated that. And then my husband said, you know what? I know what you can be. I said, what? He said, you can be a very good product manager. I said, hello? Come again? I said, I'm a doctor, I have a PhD, I have an office, I take care of people, I heal people. He said, yeah, and you hate it. I said, yeah, true. But I did it. He says, you don't have to stick to it. You can go to an international company, you know about medicine, you talk a lot, you know many languages, they'll love you, you'll work, they'll keep you busy, and we'll have some peace. I said, fine, let me go try. So I said, and when you translate what a product manager is at that time to a dentist, like this is 30 years ago, it means mal müdürü. I really didn't have any idea about marketing and strategy and whatnot. So okay, off I go to my first interview, and I worked for that first interview for 14 years. So I tell him everything that he's doing wrong in his company. And he listens to me. My interview was at 9 o'clock in the morning. By 6 p.m., I was working at that company. And my mom and my husband were having multiple heart attacks because cell phones were not invented, so they didn't know where I am. Off I go in the morning for a 1-hour interview, and I never come back. And I didn't. That was a choice made that day, and I really liked the corporate life. Corporate life liked me. I went back to school. I went to Bosphorus University. I learned what I'm talking about. I put some substance behind it and started to climb the ladder. So what I learned in life is, if you are a good person, and I am, genuinely good, and if you can't curse someone, there's a very good one you can do. Inshallah, you will promote. And so the more you promote, the more you become like, okay, what am I going to do now? And the more work you do. I thought, like, you know, when you become the general manager, okay, you come in the morning, chit-chat, do this, do that, off to lunch, back home. No, it doesn't happen like that. Every year I work more, and now probably I am up to 20 hours a day and up to 6 days a week, working on squeezing some more. So I chose the professional life, and that was when my social peak happened. I learned, because of so much work and pressure, I learned how to manage stuff and how not to care about things that I don't manage. Focus on what's important, prioritize, make sure that the kid is fed, homework is done, he's happy, smile, husband is good, fine, in front of TV, emails are answered, and then came other choices. Okay, so I did a lot of things in Turkey, this, that's not important, but I thought at my 40th birthday, which was a very sad one, it really hurt. You know, 30, 32, 34, 36, 37, no matter what, you still feel young, and 40 is like a milestone. You have to get used to it. I said at the age of 40, I always wanted to be a global person, to go to university in the United States, to work in Europe, to see more of the world. Probably ain't happening. Who's going to take me at the age of 40 to do something globally? That was August. In November, I got a job offer to go and be the first Turkish person who heads global marketing in world's #2 pharmaceutical company. I came home, I'm very excited, but all the buts have started. Oh, what about my child? What about my husband? What about my mom? What about my sister? What about my friends? All the obligations that are not me. And then my husband listened to me and at dinner table said, yeah, we're gonna do this. I said, how are we gonna do this? You are a cardiovascular surgeon. He says, I'm bored and I'm tired. It's a tough profession. I'll come. I'll be a houseman. I'm going to go to school, learn a new language. It's going to be good for our son. You have to do this. You know, you're at the glass ceiling. Not much left for you to do in Turkey. If there's an opportunity, let's go and show them what you can do at a global platform. So we did everything. Everything is ready. We're going to go. And then on the day that we started to do all the paperwork after I signed the contract, he said, you know what? I lied. I'm going to stay in Istanbul. I said, how are we going to do this? And he said, well, you need to do this. It's always going to be in the back of your mind. I'm sure you're going to be very successful. It's great for my son. He's going to learn languages, going to be a global person, and you're just going to France. It's only a 3-hour plane ride, and I'll come and see you every weekend. I need to stay here. I love what I'm doing. If I don't operate on people, there won't be much left of me. And he said, I promise you, I will not nag. I won't hold this against you. And it's only 2 years. What was only 2 years turned out to be 10 years. And in those 10 years, I learned global strategy. Now ask me anything about the Korean pharmaceutical market or the energy markets in Brazil. I know. Some of them are not really necessary today, but they're just there. And so I went all around the world, traveled globally. I learned to be a global person. But that was a socially isolated time in my life. Away from my husband, well, very well connected, definitely suggestible, because you become your husband's girlfriend again. He comes to visit you for weekends. He actually brings presents, and sort of you have have a better life quality with your husband when you see him less often, but not too far away. Okay? You miss. And you know, we managed that period, and I always tried to come back, but I had to find something. And I went deeper and deeper into strategy, into innovation, into healthcare. I still want to, and I really tried to change the healthcare market in the world a little bit to make sure that medicine becomes more accessible, more affordable, and more higher quality for people. It's a shame, you know. I've been to Bangladesh, and I've been to Chile, and I've been to, you know, all corners of the world, and I saw how little access people have to medicine around the world, and how lucky we are in Turkey, and how ungrateful we are for the wonderful healthcare system that we have compared to billions of people in the world. And I think one of the last lessons was I was managing 10 factories, 7 research centers, all focused on breast cancer. I was the head of global mammography for GE Healthcare. I loved my job. And then they said to me, how about going back to Turkey? I said, how about going back to Turkey? And they said, we've got a job for you. And until then, at every step, at every crossroad, I thought a lot. I asked many people, can I do this? Why do you think I can do this? What if I don't take this job? What if I don't change my home? What if this? What if that? I thought really hard and always made the choice and never looked back. I made it work because it was my choice, because it was good for me. This one said, I learned the system. Now I know. 5 minutes, and I said, yes. They said, oh, you're not going to take your 1 week and you're not going to go see people and talk to... I said, no. This is going back home. This is back to network. And this is, okay, hell, it's not healthcare. I'm going to leave healthcare behind, and I'm going to stretch across industries, learn banking, easy, learn energy, gas turbines. I now really look at the machine and understand if it's a gas turbine or if it's a gas motor. Size, you know, small one is the gas motor, big one is the gas turbine. So, but I learned to make myself in a men's world of energy people. I talk, people listen. Probably I talk so much nonsense that they say, oh, this is really different, we need to understand. But professionally, I became a multi-industry person at the age of 50. So, life is a roller coaster. I hate it. It's scary. But nevertheless, it's very exciting. It's very energizing. And my success formula is 4 P's. Okay? 2 P's you gotta have. One is purpose, and the other one is passion. Whatever. If you are a CEO at home, if you are a CEO at work, if you are a student, if you are a doctor, you need to find a purpose for yourself, and you need to have passion for what you do. But the other 2 P's is really what makes you go the extra mile. It is the patience and the persistence. Nothing is easy. Everything has a price. From being a beauty queen to being a very rich as Croesus, everything has a price. You have to be aware of what you want, what you choose, stick to it, and think before you choose. If you do that, life is a roller coaster. Still, doesn't change. It's not easy. So there are a lot of people that have led me, guided me. I read a lot. I love to read. So I will leave you with a couple of things. One is every choice is a renunciation. Her seçim bir vazgeçiştir. Many people have said this. As early as the 15th century, Thomas Aquinas, a philosopher, theologist, said that. Voltaire wrote a lot about choices. Jean-Paul Sartre, you know, coming towards our time, wrote a lot about it. Life is about choices, but it's also about what you don't choose. And it has been mentioned today, there is a road not taken. Don't worry about it, okay? Whatever road to take, it is your road, as long as you made that choice for yourself only. And wherever you put your energy, life becomes greener there. If you invest your energy into positive, life becomes more positive. It won't be easy. It will always be a bumpy ride, but you'll enjoy it more. Pick up on the positive, realize that the glass is half full, and put on your pink glasses. And I thank you very, very much for listening to me.